Hi, my name's Joe. Welcome to my channel where I help you make better coffee and give you honest reviews. Today I have a really fun one comparing the temperatures of 205 degrees in espresso versus 195 degrees. I had someone comment on my videos and say I don't think anybody could really tell the difference. So I'm going to put that to the test with a blindfolded taste test. Well, I should say blindfolded until the cups come to me. But before we get into the video, consider subscribing and hitting the thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot as I'm a small creator. So what the goal is my wife's gonna put this blindfold on. I have my spoon to spin the coffee around and everything. She's gonna do a shot at 205 degrees first and then a shot at 195. Bring them over to me. I'll take the blindfold off and we'll test. So do the honors, Kaylin.
It looks like Peter LaFleur is actually blindfolded himself.
Yeah, he will not be able to see very well, Cotton.
I think too that the temperature of 205 is going to be more bitter and the temperature of 195 is probably going to be more sour. And I also think the flow is going to be slower at 195 and the flow will be higher at 205. All right, we are off. On the left side, we have the espresso machine set to 205, and on the right side, we are set to 195. Kaylin is grinding and getting ready to prep the shot. I will say that the care that I would take and like the distribution would maybe be a little bit different, but you know, she's not quite as experienced. But I will say they are very similar. It's not like one was significantly different than the other. So I don't think the effects are going to be much different. I think the puck prep was similar enough that it won't be change much at all. Okay, so it looks like Kaylin picked the pink for the 205 and the yellow sticker for the 195. We made sure to weigh out the shots, and it looks like she's gonna let it rip. Now I will say this is a flow control machine, so we made sure that the flow control paddle was set to on, all the way on. We did set a little pre-infusion time of 3 seconds for both, so if you see like the flow kind of stop and then start again. I will say these shots weren't the greatest. You can see that this is probably a little slow, maybe closer to a ristretto. We typically do a longer pre-infusion, letting the shot, you know, kind of develop a little bit more. When you bloom, it makes the shot, you know, work a little bit better. So looks like we're all said and done at 32 seconds on both, and 27 grams versus 34 grams. So the flow did, in fact, have a little bit more on 205. Okay.
All right. You're good.
All right. I'm going to pull this off. All right. Let's see what's going to happen here. So let me first stir these up. My guess is they're probably going to be pretty similar temperature-wise since one was pulled at, 10 degrees hotter than the other one. All right. So let me give it a smell. Now the flow doesn't seem to have been much different between these two. If I were just guessing based on flow, the one on the left seems like it did have maybe a little bit more espresso come out. All right, so now I'm going to take my first sip. The first one's pretty good. Relatively balanced, a little bit bitter, almost no sourness, so that's pretty good. All right, let's do this one. I'm gonna stir this one more time. Okay, let me get a quick sip of water. Oh, it's pretty fruity smelling. Yeah, smells good. pretty close. Let me do another quick side-by-side here. Okay, as I went for my second sip on this one, was definitely a little bit more tart, especially after having this one. This is easy. Pretty sure based on the fact that this had a slightly more liquid in it, and it also is not tart at all. Right now, I'm really leaning toward this one being the hotter temperature and this one being the lower one. Let me do one more sip to just compare. I'm going to drink another sip of water. They both smell pretty good, though. Yeah, that kind of gives you that puckering tongue a little bit. I'm going to do one more sip here. This one has sort of a more like toasted caramel smell to it too. Ooh, the end was kind of weird, but that might just be the coffee itself. Okay, so I think I'm ready to decide. I've been leaning toward this one being the hotter temperature and this one being the colder temperature at 195 versus 205. So that is going to be my final decision. 205 on the left, 195 on the right. Am I right, Kaylin? I'm right! All right, so you can tell the difference. It's not impossible. I will say it's harder than I maybe would have thought, but because the difference wasn't like massive, but it's enough to definitely be able to tell. This one's definitely more tart. This one's definitely a little bit, not even really bitter at all. It was really just, you know, a little bit smoother. And like I said, you notice a slight variation in the volume that came out. And as long as Kaylin was accurate in the timing, which I believe she was, that makes sense to me. Generally, when you have a hotter temperature, the flow should be slightly higher, and the lower temperature, it's going to be a little bit lower. So, thanks for watching the video. Hope you learned something. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will check you in the next one.